Jake here for American Muscle, and today I'm taking a look at the MBRP Armor Lite catback exhaust fitting 2015 and 2016 5.7 liter Hemi Chargers. If you want a great sound at an affordable price, then look no further than this Installer Series catback from MBRP. This is a full catback that combines some nice features, a great sound profile, and a price that's going to fit any budget. It's going to come in at a 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter as well, so it will be a definite increase versus your stock setup, but it's not going to be totally unhinged, making this a great choice for a daily driven car. MBRP has carved a really nice niche for themselves by producing good sounding exhausts for reasonable prices, and this one here is no exception. Now, as you heard in the clips at the beginning of the video, this system does provide you with some more sound versus stock, of course, but not nearly so much that it's going to hurt your ears or offend passersby. Since this is MBRP's street profile, it's a bit more subdued than some of their other options, but again, it will definitely be a noticeable increase in volume and a change in tone. This one sounds deeper than your factory exhaust and gives you more of that muscle car grumble that the Hemi is famous for. It really just sort of turns things up a couple of notches versus your stock system. Now, of course, more volume on the outside is going to translate to more volume inside the cabin. Now, it's not going to be too intrusive, but as you heard in those clips earlier, you are going to notice this more than your stock system inside. You're going to get more of that grumble coming through. However, you will still be able to comfortably hold a conversation, listen to music, or whatever you want, and it's definitely a tolerable setup for a daily driven car. Now, if you do find yourself on, say, a long trip, even sans co-pilots, you're also going to find that you don't get a ton of drone like some other exhausts. Now, that comes down to these resonators and the X-pipe. Now, the resonators here are specifically tuned to allow for that aggressive V8 rumble outside, but keep unpleasant frequencies from coming through. As you can hear, you've got some nice baffling in here. And adding to that drone resistance is the X-pipe, which is something that we're starting to see included on more systems, but it's nice to have this included here, especially at this price point. Now, X-pipes are great because they help even out exhaust pulses caused by the uneven firing order you find in a traditional pushrod V8 like the Hemi. This is also going to help even out exhaust pressure since you've got this crossover here, and all that combines to help minimize exhaust drone in the cabin. You get a much more pleasant and enjoyable driving experience. And since this allows for some crossover too, you also get a little bit of added volume and some cool noise coming out of it. By now, you've also probably noticed that this system does not include any separate exhaust tips, and that is because this is designed to utilize the factory exhaust bezels in your lower rear valance. So it's going to keep that stock appearance. These are just going to exit right behind those rear valances. It's also going to save you a little bit of money because it's less piping, and you also don't have to do any other mods to get additional tips to fit. So if you're looking to keep your build a bit on the stealthier side appearance-wise, this is going to make it a great option for you. Construction-wise, the piping here is all 3-inch mandrel bent 16-gauge aluminized steel. And that's going to allow the exhaust gases to flow smoothly because there's no weird creases or folds in the metal. Everything is nice and smooth here. And it's going to provide you with some decent protection against the elements, especially if you live in a drier climate. Now, this is not going to provide the same type of protection to corrosion as, say, T304 stainless, but you are going to save quite a bit of money versus a system like that as well. And speaking of pricing, this one is going to run you about $775, and that makes it the least expensive catback in the category for these cars. Now, like we were just discussing, you're not getting the highest quality of materials, not getting new tips, or some of the more high-end features like switchable exhausts or anything like that. But that is part of the cost savings. If you want something that's really going to wake your Charger up and sound really good without blowing out the budget, I think that what you're getting here more than justifies the price, just because the sound is so darn good. As far as install goes, this is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and it should take you about 2 hours to get everything buttoned up. Now, this is a totally bolt-on system. It uses all of your stock exhaust hangers too, so you don't need to modify anything on the car or the exhaust itself. And you also get all new clamps and hardware included in the box, so everything you need is right there and ready to go once you open it up. Now, exhaust can be a little bit fiddly to do in the driveway purely because of space constraints, but this is certainly a job that a DIY mechanic can do at home. And to show you just how to get that done, let's head on over to the install bay.
The tools you'll need for this project are a 1/2-inch impact gun, a 3/8 impact gun, a long 3/8 extension, a 13mm and a 15mm socket, a 13mm wrench, an exhaust hanger removal tool, a cloth, and some spray lube. Hi everyone, today we're installing an exhaust on our Charger. But before we do that, let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock system first. So the first thing we're going to want to do is use a little spray lube on the isolator behind the muffler so that we can get that hanger out of the exhaust. Now we can use our hanger removal tool and push this out. And then use our 13mm wrench to remove the two nuts on our exhaust flange. Now we'll remove the two rear hangers. One of them is right behind the wheel, and the other one is right at the end of the muffler. So we're using our 13mm socket, we'll get those taken out. Now we can remove the two rear hangers on the passenger side and then move up to the two cross members that have to come out as well. Now we'll remove the two cross members here and here using our 13mm socket. Now we can loosen up the two front clamps using our 15mm socket. Now we've got one more bolt to remove. It's right up here on the passenger side, right next to the differential. So we're going to use our 13mm wrench to get that out. And then we can go ahead and get an extra pair of hands, because we're on a lift, to go ahead and remove the rest of the exhaust. Okay, like I said earlier, since we're on a lift, I got my buddy Mark here to help me lift this out. So what we're going to do, we're just going to lift it up off of the hook here, push it back to get it off the front pipes, and then lower it down. The first thing we're going to do is install our X pipe, and to do that, we're going to use the two 2.5-inch muffler clamps that are installed, that are included with the kit, over the ends of our X pipe, with the nuts facing down and to the outside of the pipe. Now you'll notice that one pipe is straight and the other one has a slight curve to it. The curved side goes to the driver's side. So let's go ahead and get that installed. Now you want to slide these clamps right to the end of the X pipe, and then we can snug them down using our 15mm socket. Now we can go ahead and slide our mufflers onto our X pipe using our 3-inch clamps, again facing to the outside of the vehicle. Now you will notice that there is a smaller diameter pipe on the end here, so it's not going to match up with your muffler. So what you want to do is go ahead and slide your muffler about 2.5 inches onto the larger end of the pipe. Now there is no right or wrong direction on these mufflers. They'll work either way, so whatever you feel like doing, go ahead and just install it that way. And then we'll snug that up with our 15mm socket. Again, making sure that it's to the end of the muffler. Now we'll go ahead and do the other side. Now we will be reusing a couple of the hangers from our stock system on our new system, mainly the front hanger here and the rear hanger. This middle hanger, we're not going to be reusing. So we're going to go ahead and use our hanger removal tool and remove the one for the passenger side. Remember, we left the one for the driver's side on the vehicle. So we're just going to clamp this onto our isolator and squeeze and pull it right off. Now before we install our under the axle pipe on the driver's side here, you may want to use a little spray lube on this upper isolator just to make it smoother for this arm to go ahead and slip into. So we're going to go ahead and slide our 3-inch clamp onto our pipe, slide the pipe into the muffler, and then slide the arm into the isolator. Once we've got that in, then we can go ahead and snug up our clamp using our 15mm socket. Now we can go ahead and slide a 3-inch clamp over our tailpipe and install it onto our under the axle pipe. Then we'll go ahead and secure our rear hanger using the original hardware. Now before we tighten everything up, we'll go ahead and install the passenger side first and get everything lined up. Then we can go through and tighten it all down. Now we'll go ahead and slide another 3-inch clamp on the under axle pipe for the passenger side. Slip it in to the muffler, and then hang our front hanger on the hook and secure it using the original hardware. All right, now we'll go ahead and snug that clamp down using our 15mm socket. Now we can go ahead and slide our last clamp over our tailpipe for the passenger side. Slide it over under the axle pipe. And then secure the rear hanger using the original hardware. Now we can go ahead and tighten those down with our 13mm socket. Now we'll go ahead and do the driver's side as well. All right, now that we've got our hangers all secured and we've double checked our alignment, make sure that there's no interference with any of the suspension pieces or any hoses or lines. Now we can go ahead, starting from the front, with our 15mm socket and tighten up all of our clamps to make sure that they're not going to fall off.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the MBRP Armor Lite catback exhaust fitting 2015 and 2016 5.7 liter Hemi Chargers. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Charger, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.